everybody, it's Bug Eater 64, and we are going to be getting ready to do another flight in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Today I'm going to be flying the Coronado Cessna-182, my very first ever flight, and we're going to be just doing it for scenery effect. I went ahead after my last video, which was the H-135, where we looked at the generic out-of-the-box scenery. I went on to flightsim.to and found third-party freeware of Catalina Island Airport. And we're going to take a look at Catalina Island and how these people did this. It's absolutely gorgeous. And so this flight is all about that. So let's get to it and have a little bit of fun. See you in the 182. She's already up and running. Okay, here we are parked at the LAX, and we're going to get ready here to start our taxi. Now, I'm not using ATC, and so in that case, who knows what we might run into. But what difference does it make? This is Microsoft Flight Simulator, and you can't crash into aircraft. You just go right through them. Always so much fun just to maintain that immersion and reality of, flight. We can't crash unless we run dead into the ground. But anyway, so here we go. We're going to be taxiing and go down here to get ready to take off. My first ever takeoff in the Cessna-182. And hopefully I've got everything set up on my HOTAS that I need. Otherwise, it's going to be a rude awakening. And this is the Coronado Cessna 182, so nice little aircraft. More powerful engine than we find in the 172. So we're going to be taking off on runway 7 left. Looks like we've got everything set up. So I'm not going to be using flaps on takeoff because I don't need them. This aircraft's got plenty of lift without it. Alright, so let's double check everything here. Mixture rich. Prop all the way. RPM full. Alright. So that looks like we're about ready to go. Apply throttle. And our brakes are released. Airspeed's alive. And rotate. And basically the aircraft just picks itself up off the runway when you get enough speed, so you don't really have to do anything. Okay. Check our climb rate. good here. Not going to need a lot of altitude for the simple reason there's nothing really to run into as we turn around and head out to sea. And head over to Catalina. But, you know, Southern California could really do with a little love from the Sobo. I mean, it's all right. Wave to the jetliner as it goes by. We're going to make a slow turn around here, head over to the main part of the Los Angeles city, the high-rise area. See if it looks anything like I remember it. I've flown over this in other aircraft a couple times, but I have yet to find, so if somebody watching knows where it's at, the old, the City Hall and Alvera Street area where the train station is, the main train location, and I haven't seen it yet, so if somebody can help me out, I'd appreciate that. I just want to check out the scenery. That's kind of an important landmark. You've seen it in many, many movies. It's got blown up a few times, and earthquakes destroyed it a couple times, and all in all, you know, it's a landmark. So, my luck, it's probably behind me. This isn't the best airplane for sightseeing. It is high wing, well, that makes it nice, but there are other aircraft that have much better visibility than this, but this isn't too bad. Here we're coming up to is the main business area. We'll do our best here, try not to run into any buildings. Barely missed that one. And I know what I forgot to do. When I was setting up my autopilot, I forgot to put in the altitude. So it's trying to go down to 100 feet. So we'll just have to... Now I've got to reset my trim and stuff like that. So let's try to hold on to this girl and get her back in trim and get her set up. She may not like it. I mean, I've run into trouble before doing these things. So bear with me. We'll get her done. To adjust my prop RPM here, and yeah, did it again. Oops. Okay, well, we'll fight this bunking Bronco a little bit here. We'll get her set up. I think I fly helicopters better than these modern fixed wing. Now, put me in an old DC-3 or DC-6, I get along just fine with them. But neither of those airplanes are yet available in Microsoft Flight Simulator, but the DC-6 for sure will be coming soon. Thank you, PMDG. That was great news. All right, so let's get things set up here. Things are looking better. Very good. So now I can kind of look around. Set for nav, altitude hold at 1100 feet. We're going to have to gain some altitude before we get to Catalina because it sits at over 2,000 feet. But we'll just look at a little bit of the scenery around here. Okay, so we got it set up for whoops, foobarred again. Getting the altitude. Alright, so we'll climb up to 3,000 feet as we go over the top of Los Angeles International Airport, KLAX, and if I'd been using ATC, the people in the tower and air traffic control would be yelling and screaming at me for violating their airspace without permission. But things aren't that busy around here right now, according from what I can see. So they'll just have to deal with it. So we've got everything set, and so we're just going to sit back, enjoy the flight, and get till we get a little bit closer to Catalina Island, and then we'll look at some of the scenery there. Okay, so here we are approaching Twin Harbor, and this is just a very low valley between mountains of the island itself, where it's actually like a few hundred yards across. A lot of it is kind of sandy bottom, dirt bottom, that's fairly level, and they've built some buildings there. Years past, I had actually gone there, and I've actually sailed in sailboats and spend one day on one side, anchored on one side, and then the next day sail around the island and come in on the other side, and you can, like, there's a little restaurant, things like that there. Very picturesque. Much better looking than, unfortunately, what the scenery shows here, but in person it's absolutely gorgeous. If you like to just have a nice quiet place, Twin Harbors is the place. Really good, and there's some pretty cool fishing on either side of the island if you like to do that from your boats. So we're just going to fly through here, and we'll turn around and come back and head over to the airport, fly by that, and go to Avalon Bay and take a look at that compared to what we saw in my other video a couple days ago, because it is so much different than what we saw in the other video. So, Twin Harbors, great little place for camping. And it's a nice little sheltered anchorage, so it's a cool place to go. So we've looked at that. Now we'll go ahead and we'll make a left turn here as gain a little altitude and start a turn to head over the top of the island.
to the airport. A little over 4 miles to the airport. And we'll just do a quick flyby, just kind of get a glimpse of what the airport looks like with this rendering compared to what we saw a couple days ago. And I know I was, and I would hope that maybe that you are duly impressed as I am, because this looks very, very much like the actual airport, which is wonderful. That's what I look for when I fly into an airport, especially when I know. I want to see what my eyes are used to. And this version, they really did a nice job. And again, like I said, you can go to flightsim.to, flightsim.to, and this is a freeware scenery there. And if you like it, give the people some love that made it, because they deserve it. Okay, that's just a quick glimpse, and we'll head over here to Avalon and get a look at the old yacht club building, the red roof round yacht club building, which I may be wrong because I haven't been there in years, but I believe it's a museum now. It may still have a yacht club in there, but I think it's primarily a museum. And if you're ever out on the West Coast and you get a chance to go to Avalon Bay, definitely get the bison burger at the little restaurants there. It's delicious. They actually have a working herd of bison on Catalina Island, and that's where they get the meat for those burgers. Absolutely delicious. And if you don't want to fly over there, or you don't have a sailboat or a boat of any type to get there, they do have a ferry service. And it used to, I don't know about now, but they used to make about 30 runs a day. It's only 32 miles from Long Beach to Catalina, so, easy trip. A lot of fun. And you can see ahead of us, that is the old yacht club building. And when you sail over, you actually go inside the harbor, and there's boat moorings inside. And there's also moorings outside along where these cliff areas are. Sometimes there are some moorings there. So there's the old yacht club. Very nicely done. I like that. And then a lot of buildings in there. There are a lot of shops and, tourist area and so on. Individuals that did this rendering of the Catalina Island did a beautiful job. I'm very happy with it. And like I said, for those of you that are interested, it is freeware. Okay, so we're going to turn around and we're going to head back to Catalina Airport and make our approach and land. Keep your fingers crossed. This will be my first attempt in the 182. Okay, won't be long. I am flying a little bit slow because it makes it easier if I'm keeping it slow, rather than having to slow it down even, too much to try to make the approach. We'll be landing on runway 22. Which is the primary runway used for landings and takeoffs for Catalina Island. It's just the way the wind blows. Okay, won't be long now. You can see on my MFD, the airport. Alright, so it looks like I waited a little too long to make my turn, but we should be able to. And just beyond it, we'll be able to pull that back. Not too much of an issue. And okay, now realized one issue. I set up my flap system in my with my HOTOS, it gives me full flaps or no flaps. So, wasn't that fun? All right, so we've got full flaps. Okay, first attempt. Let's see if this runway is only 3,000 feet long, which would be plenty for this airplane. But, then again, you've got to make your approach, make the landing proper. Looks we got a bit of a crosswind. All right. Whoops. Drop down too much. Coming down. Up. No flare. That's bad. That's horrible. Ooh, that's bad, 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 bad. Absolutely ugly, horrible, disgusting landing. That's absolutely, but we're down safe. Okay. So, on the ground at Catalina Island Airport in the sky. So, and if you saw my video the other day with the helicopter, where I left from here, you can see just how much of a huge difference the scenery is. This is beautiful. This looks so much like the original, the real world airfield. Off in the distance there, you see the white hangar. That is an old DC-3 hangar. When they opened this airport in 1941, I believe, and they used to fly DC-3s for commercial use here, bringing in supplies and also passengers selling. And that is the old hangar, which happens to be still in use today. Not for DC-3s, but for other things. But just great. And then there's the flight office, restaurants. There's a lot of things there. This is a fairly busy airport, bringing people in here. So, but we're down safe. Sorry for the landing, because it's the worst landing I've made in many, many, many months. I'm going to blame it on CajunJosh. I was talking to him yesterday just before I did this flight, and we were talking about some landings and so on. And he jinxed me. So I'll blame it on him. Okay. But we are here. And the scenery is absolutely beautiful. So, parking brake on. Prop RPM all the way off. Get rid of this so I can turn off the lights a little bit. Okay, everything's looking okay. Engine off. Lights off. Alright, thank you. And
Alrighty then. We completed the flight, and look at Avalon Bay, look at the airport on Catalina, even Twin Harbors, the first place we flew through, just looks wonderful compared to the straight out of the box. Beautifully done, excellent scenery, and what can I say? Other than the fact that was for my first time ever flying the airplane, I found out a couple things. One, my HOTAS wasn't set up for the flaps properly, so it was either all or nothing. I'll fix that before the next flight. And that was, by gosh, the world's worst landing, 300 minus 300 and something. All I gotta say is I dedicate that landing to a fellow flight simmer, friend of mine in Texas, CajunJosh. That landing was for you, and it was just god awful. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed the flight. Um, that one I did, no track IR or VR, and just with my normal settings for views, and had a lot of fun with it. The outside views were done with my replay system, FS Playground, which works fairly well with the Microsoft Flight Simulator. I sure am looking forward to when Microsoft uh, comes out. Asobo is working on a replay system. They say they have it and that it basically works. Well, by golly, if it basically works, put it out as beta or something and let us get this thing going, because most people that like to fly and produce YouTube videos and so on or stream like to have that replay capability. So with that, all in all, I got off my soapbox. Anyway, I sure hope you all enjoyed the flight. I had fun bringing it to you. And like I always say, I do this strictly for fun. And I show you the bad with the good. Landing's good, you get to see it. If it's god awful or even a crash, I'm not going to delete it. I'm going to go ahead and show it to you. So anyway, we got to see the scenery. It looked beautiful. And until next time, Bug Eater 64 saying, as always, remember, safe flying.